From the very first day that I came to Patrick Henry, I knew that I wanted to do something different. I did inherit school that was at the time on probation. We were able to get off probation in 1 year, but I knew that that wasn't going to be good enough. And so we started off small by working with a small group of teachers, giving the space and the opportunity for those teachers to have, to basically succeed, and also opportunity to take some risks.
In the beginning, when I first started personalized learning, I remember the first week after introducing the choice schedules and I had their first check-in on Friday, I asked them what they had completed during the week, and a lot of them did not have anything complete. There was a bunch of things that were done and they were engaged during the week, but there wasn't like one thing that was completed throughout the week. I remember feeling very frustrated because my first initial thought was, well, what have you been doing this whole week with all this time that I'm giving you? So then more of the conferencing came along as I realized that they needed those frequent check-ins to make sure that they were on track. So usually with the check-ins, we check in for our reader's response questions that we work on, where they create those questions and they respond to a text that we're reading, like a whole class text that we're reading. Our check-ins usually include a conversation either with myself or with someone else in their team, and they have a rubric that they use that they created themselves using other resources that they found to kind of create one that would fit them. I wanted to incorporate projects into our choice schedule. That was a way for me to incorporate like their passions into our choice schedule, so that aspect of collaborating with your teacher to guide your learning. We met one-on-one to talk about their interests. Then they created a list of 2 to 3 things that they were interested in, selected one, and in order for it to get approved by me, they had to find 2 to 3 resources that they would use. If you walk into my classroom at the beginning of literacy block, you'll see them making their choices. So they're usually on their Chromebooks. They go to their Google Drive, select their schedule, and they start inputting their choices. So you see them making those choices. Then after that, we move on to something, or our rounds that we call them. So we have 4 different rounds since we have 4 teams, and those teams were developed based on NWEA scores and their RIP band levels. Everyone moves on to their first round as soon as they're ready, which usually doesn't take very long. We spend anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes there, depending on how things are going or if I need more time with the group that I'm meeting with. And then after that, it's just a continuous changing rounds. Some of them you will notice that halfway through our literacy block, they decide to move on to something else instead of whatever was on their schedule. And some of them will make it known that they're deciding to switch something from their schedule for whatever reason, and some of them will just change it and go with it. As a teacher, in the beginning it was very hard to kind of let go and not question if they were engaged or not. But now it's just like I have full trust in them. In terms of data and numbers, if you want to focus on that, I want to say over 84% of my students met their expected growth for spring NWEA. One of the things that has made the most impact, so it was Saturday morning, that she emailed me asking me if she could work on one of her projects at home. So having those students think about the work that they're doing in the classroom on a weekend, that tells me that it's working. That tells me that they're enjoying what they're doing so much to the point where they want to do it outside of the classroom.